Hey everybody, coming at you here with a little bit of a different video than usual. Not an unboxing today. I figured I would do something of a collection tour for all of the figures that I have already unboxed and I've had for the past several years. And I wanted to start with the Avengers. That was really kind of what got me into the kind of collecting I'm in now, with hot toys and 6-scale figures. So yeah, let's start here. This is the original 2012 Avengers as they appeared in that film. To kind of go through and give you little details about each one and some specifics to my collection. So let's start over here. It's Hawkeye. Believe this was the first Hawkeye figure that Hot Toys ever made. It's for a figure that is 10 years old. It is still pretty good. The details here are great. Good boots, nice pants details. I love this look for Hawkeye. I think it is still the best look that he's had. This vest with the vaguely hawkish symbol in purple there is great. And of course his iconic sunglasses and the quiver in the back, which with this particular figure, that quiver is extremely hard to get on there and get it to stay in the right place. So I don't touch this figure very often because of that. One weird thing about this is his arms do look a little too long in this figure. I think it might be an illusion because of the sleevelessness of the costume, but yeah, that's kind of one issue I've always had with this particular figure. And then over here we have Iron Man. This is actually the movie promo edition of the Mark 6. The Mark 6 was originally released as an Iron Man 2 figure, but because it appeared in this film as well, they released it as an exclusive for this film, and that is the figure that I have here in this collection with my 2012 Avengers. This figure did not come with a head sculpt, so I actually got a third-party Robert Downey Jr. sculpt there. It's looking a bit sweaty. I don't think that actually started out like that. I believe it was more matte like these and like it should be, but I guess over the years of the third-party sculpt, it's deteriorated or something. Still looks pretty good in my opinion. I think it's a good likeness. I think it's well painted for not being official, but yeah, there's clearly an issue there. Maybe I could see if I can fix that somehow, but yeah. Yeah, good figure. It is plastic, not die cast, so that's, I guess, one drawback, but I've never had an issue with the plastic figures, the plastic Iron Man figures. I think they're just as good as the die-cast ones. In some cases better, honestly. One little quirk about this one is that this was before he had repulsor blast hands, so you actually can't really do his hand up doing the repulsor blast pose with this figure, which is a crazy omission for something so iconic for that character. And then I just have his helmet down there at the bottom. Really simple posing on all these, by the way, just kind of heroic, straight up and down museum poses. Yeah, and then we have Captain America, the original release of the 2012 outfit. I know that they just redid this for Endgame, his appearance in Endgame. Huge complaint from everyone, myself included, with this is the single solid sculpted boots. Very, very hard to get this guy to stand on his own. I'm not exactly sure what magic I've done here to get him to stand up straight without a stand, but Yeah, I'm not messing with that because he'll fall over for sure. Um, the costume's okay. You know, for this again, 10 years ago, this figure came out. I think it was really good for then, and it holds up all right now. I know a lot of people don't like this suit. Uh, I personally do like this. I think his Endgame suit beats this out a little bit for me, but yeah, it's a really good one. I like it. It's very comic booky and silly, which I think worked for the character in that movie. Um, yeah, I actually, back in the day, before the shields were metal with the Captain America figures, they had an issue with the paint where it would start to chip away and flake. This is a replacement shield that I got from eBay or something like that, which has also chipped, but not nearly as badly as the original shield, which is basically not even worthy of display anymore. So yeah, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I really like the way this guy looks. Then we have Hulk in the back in his original 2012 release. Big, angry, ripped pants, the classic Hulk look. My favorite Hulk look. I know that the Age of Ultron Hulk was also a pretty good figure, but I'm glad I got this one because it's the ripped pants and everything, and that's just the iconic look for me. So he does have pretty big shoulder joints there, but you know, these are action figures, and that's just how they look. I've never had an issue with joints visible like that or anything, just because of the nature of what these are. So great head sculpt on this one. I absolutely love that look. It's the teeth. He is a little sweaty, but in this case, that's on purpose. But yeah, really, really good look on that one. Then we have Black Widow. Again, original 2012 release. There was one from Iron Man 2 before this, but I think this was overall an improvement on that. Solid boots, but I've never had as much of an issue with these as I had with the Captain America boots, so not a huge issue. I do have a little bit of creasing from posing over the years in the suit, but it's held up pretty well. No flaking or anything like that some people experience. The hair is difficult to get looking good, but I managed to do it, and I haven't futzed with it since, so I just kind of left it as that, and I think it looks pretty good. This was, in my opinion, the best Black Widow figure for years until Endgame. Endgame, I think, beat her out a little bit, but yeah, it's still a solid figure. And then over here we have Thor. This is actually a little bit of an amalgamation. I bought the original 2011 Thor movie, Thor, and then when this movie came out, I just upgraded a bunch of the parts. So the hammer is from the 2011, and then the obviously you can see the fist has the wrap on it, so that's from the older figure. But these are all official Hot Toys parts that I got parted out from various sellers, and then I just put them together to make the 2012 version, and that is the Dark World version of the Thor head sculpt, which technically his hair is longer than it is in the movie, so it's not quite accurate to the Avengers, but I think it's a much better likeness than the original sculpt, so it doesn't bother me. I prefer the likeness over the hair length accuracy. So yeah, that's it's the original 2012 Avengers right there. So then we're moving on down to the next shelf, which is the Endgame Avengers, or well, sort of the Endgame Avengers. I really wanted to have sort of the characters as they were in their first appearance in 2012 when they first assembled, and then this last appearance to them. there's some caveats to that, but we'll get there. So yeah, starting over here with Hawkeye. This is Hawkeye in his Ronin outfit. As you can see, there's an improved head sculpt with the best haircut in the world. Better execution of the quiver in this figure, since it has the strap and it's not just kind of hanging by a thread on the back of his costume. Not my favorite costume for Hawkeye. I think it worked really well for the movie and his arc in that, but as just a Hawkeye look, I think he's had some better costumes throughout the movies. And then moving on to the Iron Man Mark 85, very contentious figure in the collecting community. As you can see, he does have the repulsor style hands now, unlike the older figures, didn't have that. The big point of contention here is, of course, this head sculpt. A lot of people don't think it looks like Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark. It's not the best head sculpt, but I don't think anyone would not know who that is by looking at it, so I don't have an issue with it. I do think the hair is pretty spot on for how he appeared in this movie. A little bit older, a little bit of gray in there, so I think that works. My one issue that I do have with this figure, which I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but it's the height. I have him posed so that he looks a little shorter, but standing up straight and tall, he's probably almost as tall as the Hulk back there, and that's not right. He just towers over everyone else, which seems really out of place. Like up here, you can see it's maybe a little taller than Captain America, but yeah, if I were to stand up this figure up straight, it would look really off. So I do wish that it was more in scale with the other figures, but oh well. It's still a great looking figure on its own. And we have Hulk in the back. Obviously just received this, just unboxed it in the last video. Great figure. Not a huge fan of this outfit. I do wish that they would have done a team suit version. That's kind of what I was waiting for, because I didn't want to do the Tony Stark team suit. I have too many Iron Man figures the way it is, but it would have been cool to have Hulk in that, or even just his little sweater that he wore when he was testing time travel on Ant-Man in that movie. I think that was a great look for him. I'm glad we got the glasses. I think that's a great way to set him apart. A lot of people don't like this character, or this version of the character. Again, I think it's great. I think, that Hulk is one thing, and then, we're talking in terms of the story that the MCU is telling. This is many, many years later, and he's kind of gone through his arc of through Ragnarok, and kind of being the Hulk for a while and forgetting about Bruce Banner and everything. So I like it. I have no issues with the way this character is now. Excited to see how he fits into She-Hulk as well. We have the Nano Gauntlet. I know it comes with the snapping version, but I really like the way that this kind of opening up version is, the assembling version, I guess. So I wanted to keep that on there and do that. But yeah, not much else to say about that figure. The head sculpt is great, and I guess that's what kind of matters the most for me. And then Captain America. As I said before, this is the one suit that beats out that original 2012 Avengers version for me. I know it's very similar to the other previous versions like Civil War and Infinity War, those suits were very similar, but I think the chainmail, plate mail on the chest here looks great. Also, just the way this figure is, they did great with getting the shoulders and the trapezoids and everything very accurate, much more so than older figures. So yeah, just love this figure. It's got Mjolnir there, and plastic shield, which isn't going to chip, since it seems to be a better paint application. I love that. Yeah, so that's him. And then Black Widow, Endgame. This is, in my opinion, the best Black Widow head sculpt we've gotten. The new Black Widow figure hasn't been released yet, but that might edge this one out by a bit. But for now, this is the best, I think. Great suit, classic black with the red. She's got her twin pistols and solid boots again. Kind of a disappointment. It's been years since the other release, so thought maybe they'd update that, but no. And then she's got her batons, which, yeah, they're pretty cool. There's Black Widow. Great details in the hair, too. Little braid. Super cool. And last on the shelf, we have Thor. Now, this is Infinity War Thor, not the Endgame Thor. But he did appear in this costume in Endgame at the beginning, so in my head, it does count as an Endgame figure as well. Now, if you know anything about this figure, it came with a version of his axe, Stormbreaker. Forgot the name for a second there. Came with a version of Stormbreaker that was based on concept art and was not quite accurate to the movie, and was a little undersized as well. So I went ahead and got this third-party version recently, which I think is a huge improvement and really brings the figure, brings out the best in the figure, I think. I love this look for Thor as well. I think this is his best look. The beard in Endgame at the end was pretty cool, but I don't know, there's something about the short hair with this particular costume that really looks good. So there is the full Endgame shelf, which is good set. So yeah, original Avengers, Endgame Avengers. And just to keep going down this shelf, next down here we have the Guardians shelf. This is my personal Guardians collection. I don't like to have too many repeats of characters, of course, outside of the ones I mentioned before. So I tried to stick with the Guardians 1 versions as best I could. So start over here. We have Groot. My favorite interpretation of Groot. I know a lot of people like Baby Groot, and the teenage Groot was fun too, but personally, I like his original gentle giant sort of look and character. Rocket, again, the original Guardians 1 look with the orange jumpsuit. I did do a little bit of a custom mod to the back of his costume to get that gun to sit back there. So that's not really how it would work out of the box, but I really like the idea of him just carting around that huge gun on his back. So I wanted to make that happen. I have him He doesn't stand very well because of the tail, and he's not very well balanced, so I kind of have him propped with his tail in Groot's foot there to get him to stand on his own. Gamora, again, Guardians 1, great costume. Solid boots, always a bummer, but yeah, they're fine. I always have to keep her in arms straight down pose because I don't want the rubber on the arms to crack, which seems to happen a lot with this figure and other figures like it. So a little limited on the posing options, but from a look standpoint, I think it looks great. Love these little details around the leg wrappings and things like that. Good head sculpt too. I know that the more recent release is a bit of an upgrade, but I think this holds up. Then we have Nebula. This is technically the Endgame release, and she didn't wear this costume in, I don't think, either of the previous 2 Guardians movies, just in Endgame, but it's the only version we got, so I went with it. And to me, she's an important member of this team, so didn't want to miss out. And just an amazing head sculpt there. I think it's just got some great details, and the paint application is very good. Moving over, we have Star-Lord. Original release. Keep the helmet on with this one. I think that's a pretty iconic look for him, so I like to keep that. This release, the headphones had black on the earpieces instead of the orange from the movie, so I did a little bit of a paint job there myself to get them to be orange. I think that was just a really important look, so I'm not sure how they were able to omit that. And he does have his tape player under there. Yep, attached to the belt. Awesome Mix Volume 1. Very cool. Unfortunately, I have had the dreaded flaking in this outfit here. I don't know how to fix this. I did buy the second version shorter coat, so if this ever gets to the point where it's not usable anymore, I can switch him out and give him a shorter jacket, but I do think I prefer the longer coat look, so I'm gonna try to keep that one for as long as I can until it just flakes away into nothing, I guess. Love the detail on these guns, by the way. Just this purple kind of carbonized look at the end here, and then there's the sort of carbon fiber handle. Really cool. I love that. Then we have Drax. Another great figure. Love those boots. Real thick, heavy looking boots. I actually did not get this figure originally when it came out. I had to pick him up from eBay. And I was fortunate enough to find a good, reasonable price that wasn't too outlandish. He did only come with his red pants, not his gray pants though, which I think is okay. It fits my collection because everybody's sort of in their red Ravager look. I do like that. Great details on that body. They really went all out with the sculpting for a figure that they only released one time. He could maybe be a bit beefier, a little more muscular. His arms look a little skinny, I guess, but it'll do. And Yondu. Honestly, this is one of my favorite Hot Toys figures that they've ever made. The details on this outfit are just impeccable. There's so many layers. There's a little scarf in there, these darts, the vest, coat, and his dart over here. Just the details in these pants and these boots, it's great. And that's not to mention head sculpt. Whew, I love this head sculpt. It is maybe the best Hot Toys head sculpt I have. I don't want to say the best they've ever done, but it might be the best that I have. I love it. I think it looks great. I am using the shorter mohawk here because I want it to match the Guardians 1 look that I'm going for. And he didn't have the larger mohawk until the second movie. But yeah, just incredible. Love that figure. Look at that wrist wrap. Looks great. And the bottom shelf here, I know I just said earlier that I don't like to have repeats of characters. I guess this makes me a bit of a hypocrite, but I do like Iron Man quite a bit, so yeah. And also his suits are all so different, so I think there is reason to have more than one of that particular character. So yeah, let's start over here. This is the Mark 47 from Spider-Man Homecoming. This is the re-release. For a while, this was kind of the rarest, most coveted Iron Man figure, but now with the re-release, it's less so. I know some people get upset about those re-releases, but in my opinion, I think it's great when everybody gets a chance to have the thing they want, and I unfortunately missed out on the first chance, so I was lucky enough to get it at the second go. Love that open helmet look, too. There's a couple Iron Man figures have come like that, but I just want to display this one like that. Mark 7. The diecast, just great figure. For me, this is probably the Iron Man. If I had to pick one, this would be it right here. That original Avengers movie was so iconic, and this look was great for him. And just miles better than the original Mark 7 release, which had kind of weird large eyes, and the chest was like a little too low on it. Didn't look quite right. But this version's perfect. Just a really incredible figure. And this is the Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. This is the Power Pose version, so it is plastic, and it is pretty much stuck in that one pose. It doesn't really move. There's a little bit of head turning, and you can sort of move the arm up and down a little bit, but for the most part, it's in that pose, and that's what you get. But you know what? It was a third of the price of the other figures, and to just have Iron Man 3 represented in my collection, that's all I needed. So, yeah, real cool. He also comes with a flight stand too, so you can kind of prop him up on that to make it look like he's flying. Still in the same pose, but it is a display option. Tony and Pepper. These are pretty much completely custom figures. The Tony outfit is from a third-party seller. It's based on his suit from Age of Ultron, I believe. always look from that. The head sculpt is an original Hot Toys head sculpt from, I believe, maybe the Mark II. I'm actually not 100% sure, but I do know that it is the original Hot Toys head sculpt. And then this is all third party. Third party sculpt for Pepper. She's got a little magazine here with Tony on it. Pretty neat. Kind of pieced together this outfit from various places, roughly based on what she wore in the movies. I know it's not accurate, but I wanted to play around with doing a custom figure, and that's what I came up with. So it's all right. It's not too bad. Gave her a little ponytail in the back there. I think that improves the likeness of this sculpt a little bit. Then we have Mark II Armor Unleashed version in the back here. I have it displayed as such with all of the bits taken off so you can see the inner workings of the suit. Again, empty helmet look, pretty cool. And yeah, look at those details. It's great. And this figure is pretty old. So it's great to see the detail. All the little wires and bolts in the boots there and everything. Very cool. War Machine Mark I. This is the Iron Man 2 original release of this, not the diecast. I considered picking up the diecast version, but ultimately I'd rather use my resources, my funds to get a newer figure, a newer character, rather than rehash it on an older one. And I do think that this version looks very good. It's not probably as big and bulky as the new version, but the details are still pretty accurate, I think. And yeah, looks good amongst the others, so I can't complain. And over here we have Iron Man 3 Iron Patriot, the Rhodey sculpt in there. This was, I really love the paint job on this character, the Iron Patriot suit. I think it looks cool, but it was a weird choice to make such a sleek version of War Machine, because the War Machine Mark II armor was basically the same thing in gray, but it had this laser gun rather than the turret on the original version, which was an odd choice, but you know, it's really grown on me, and just the paint job on this, the colors are so cool and so unique, so it's one of my favorites for sure. It was cool to see the Iron Patriot back for Endgame as well, although I do prefer this original version over the Endgame version. Yeah, so there you have it. That's the Iron Man shelf. So you have Iron Man, the Guardians, and then Endgame Avengers, and the original 2012 Avengers. Yeah, that's all for today. Maybe I'll do another one of these and showcase some more of my figures, but for now this is it. See you guys next time.